Actually, if anybody should be at Big Noon Kickoff for UCF, it's Pitbull, isn't it? Or is he USF?
He's FIU.
Oh, that's right. FIU.
Remember?
FIU. Okay.
Yes, it
Yeah.
should have
Yeah.
been South Florida, but he's
Right.
FIU.
Right. Okay. Well,
And now
then,
we're looking
damn.
at goddamn Khaled and Fat Joe on
Yikes.
Big Noon Kickoff.
No, we got to get Pitbull on Big Noon Kickoff at some point.
Shout out to whoever is booking the talent though, because they had Moneybag Yo the other day.
Didn't he perform? And it was like we're not even anywhere near Memphis. It was like I can't remember where it was. Like I wish they would get like location relevant people, but
well, it can't be perfect. You know what I'm saying? It can't be perfect.
Right.
Don't expect everything from him up front.
I guess.
Let's just make it I guess give him a pat on the back for remaining culturally relevant to some degree.
Sure. Fair enough. Yeah. All right. Any thoughts before we get into any kind of crazy news stories or games that we're gonna predict?
First of all, I think everybody that's in live chat with us right now on
shout out to live chat right now.
Big at 11 Saturday kickoff show for college football. We thank you all. Another weekend here. It is week 5. What's going on? We got some Buckeyes.
You know what I mean?
Man, it must be very early for it to be a Wolverine-less chat, but that'll change shortly, gentlemen. Don't worry.
Your game is first, so y'all need to get up early.
Hey, you know what? I've been up, ready to.
Yeah,
it's dub like Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston right now.
I woke up this morning and I said, "Oh, I'm hungry. Oh, we about to eat this dub."
I hate it here. I can't believe you just quoted Jameis Winston.
Hey,
well, he's about to start.
He a hater, low key. He a hater. Now I think they got blown out that game. So
you know what I mean?
But and everybody loves Jameis's his pregame speeches now. So
yeah,
get with the program. I like that. Go blue from low key.
I was gonna say, it's coming in.
Yes,
it's
sir.
Coming in.
Yeah,
it's ready to come in.
What you thought? Yeah, no. So I guess what we'll do early on here, if everybody can go ahead, smash the like for us, we'll get some more people here in the chat, get this going. But we'll talk about some of these NIL stories we got here before we get into the games.
Yeah, quite a bit of NIL stories. Your boy Matthew Sluka kicked off the week from UNLV. They're 3-0, and abruptly he just decided, "Hey man, y'all didn't pay me my money, so I'm out. I'm out." I guess they promised him a certain amount of money. He didn't receive all of it, and he's holding their season hostage, which I can't even blame him. If you promised him that amount of money and you didn't deliver the full amount, hey bro, I got to do what's best for me. It does kind of feel like you're running out on your teammates though. So that
this is tough, man. Well, first of all, I want to call back to some older videos we have on the the original page on Back of the Bus when we kind of laid out a lot of this stuff, what was going to happen with NIL on the way that it was kind of headed, the trajectory. Mm-hmm. Never forget that we stuck talking about college football even when we didn't have a channel. We're still dedicated fans. Anyways, kind of predicted a lot of this, right? If you were making these big dollar amount promises off of handshake deals, that is a breeding ground for someone to get sued. That's a breeding ground for somebody to disavow the agreement altogether while you're actively in season. Like all of this could have been foreseen for a while now.
Yep.
I'm gonna get to Saluka and then later on we'll talk about Bear Alexander as well. But really quickly, just to call back to what was said there. The idea was that if the NCAA was being, arm wrestled into allowing players to make money, then they were going to do it in the most haphazard Royal Rumble style way. Because the NCAA and their influence as a police officer, an authority figure in college football is waning. It's ever waning. And so the idea is you let all of this stuff hit a critical mass. And then everyone starts looking around like, who's going to take control of this? Who's going to make this right? Who's going to fix this? Because this is broken, right? Who's going to bring us out of this? The NCAA. This week, their president, Mr. Baker is talking about, hey, let's get a new NIL framework to protect the students. Hey, listen, y'all. If you let them slither their way back into the lead seat, they absolutely will.
Oh, for sure.
Absolutely will. If you let them slither their way back into the lead of all of this, even though they are the reason why we are here to begin with, they will absolutely take the reins back and they will shape the next 25 to 30 years of college football. What needs to be done is there needs to be a players union created. Somebody has to be brave enough. Somebody has to be a leader enough in today's college football landscape, not just to rake in the most money, but to make sure that the money you are making today is protected forever, or at very least have the negotiating power to grow it over time. If you allow the NCAA to single-handedly set the framework with the collegiate presidents, we will be looking at another half century of old guys running slavery-like conditions for college football athletes. Whether or not you necessarily want to identify it that way or not, it's up to you. But they will wrangle every bit of juice out of any set agreement that they have with the student athletes that they can. They will not be fair. It will not be just. The lawsuits will continue, and it will be every bit of the rigmarole that we were getting before if you allow them to take the reins. Somebody, Shador Sanders, Travis Hunter, Will Johnson, Quinshon Juggins, one of y'all has to get it in your mind that this community impact you're always talking about that you have with your money and stuff like that, the things that you're able to do for your people and your peers and things of that nature, there is something infinitely less expensive that you can do that has a much larger lasting impact. I'm going to leave that at that. You know, somebody in that sphere of things is going to have to get that together if they want to protect themselves. As far as Saluka is concerned, I think from a player perspective, I think it's pretty weak for me. That tells me like you only were here for the money, right? Like it just, I understand, you know.
Is that a surprise, Will? Really? Is that a surprise? We know some of these players are only there for the money.
I'm not surprised. It's America. We live in a capitalistic society. But at the same time, you would like to think that your starting quarterback, the guy that you are giving credit, you know, for getting you these 3 wins, or at least helping you along there, your leader, your captain, is there for wins, for dubs, and not for the check, right? You know, I'm not suggesting anybody work for free, but this whole situation used to be about, hey, let me get game film for the NFL. Let me perfect my craft. I want to try and set school records. I don't know. It used to be more about the money, or excuse me, about the football. Like, fam, there are a lot of things that you can do at UNLV that are going to make you a lot more money. You can go learn and you can go prepare yourself to be an owner of a team. You could be spending your time much valuably. Like if it's coming down to money only, I question that for the player.
Well, apparently somebody had offered to pay that amount to him. I think it was some kind of casino had offered to pay the remaining balance to him, and he declined it. So
I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah,
I don't know what to tell you. So I mean, if it's more than just the football, then that is what it is too. But then again, you're tucking in the whole season.
And you know I think they had a running back leave too, if I'm not mistaken.
Now the running back's reason was playing time. Okay. And while that's not completely unheard of, we've never seen that type of timing.
Like literally right after
timing, like the first quarter of the season goes by, and you're like, well, I'm not getting playing time, so I'm going to extend myself out. That also is getting a little crazy, right? I understand that we had to give the COVID year because of what happened that year. A lot of conferences didn't even start playing football until like August, almost October that year. And then also, you know, you have the 2 redshirt years. I was looking at a guy last night in the Miami game, the Miami Virginia Tech game, the tight end. They called him the Methuselah of college football. They said he was a 9th year senior, and I thought it was a joke.
Which is crazy.
No, fam. He played with Justin Herbert at Oregon.
That's insane.
How
That's
did we get to
insane.
9? How did that happen? Okay, so
COVID year.
no, fam. You got 4 years regular eligibility. You got a red shirt and a gray shirt. The gray shirt is the medical that you can take at any time, right? Your red shirt is supposed to be taken somewhere in that first quarter of your, or that first year, your freshman year. Then you got the medical red shirt that you can take anywhere. So that's 2 more years. We're at 6. Then the COVID year, that's 7. How the hell did we get to 9? This man had to write letters to the NCAA to get cleared for 8 and 9. How did that happen?
Is that what happened? He wrote letters. I'm literally trying to read this thing, trying to see how he got that.
I think so. Alan Bowman was the last guy that I knew who petitioned the NCAA for additional years. Alan Bowman is on his 7th year. How
Which
the
we've
hell
seen a lot of
did you
7
get to
years.
9?
We've seen a lot of 7 years, but yeah, 9.
Yeah, 7th years we've seen. 9 is outrageous.
He petitioned for 2 additional years of eligibility back in September of 2023, but instead was granted 1 extra year.
That's crazy.
That is insane. What is he, 33?
It's all good, brother. Yeah, no, I mean,
no, it's not. Johnny, how's your washer doing? Hopefully everything is all good. Anyway, baby Tua got denied. Oh,
can't have a union for non-employees. Dwight, I don't know if you're up to date on some of the most recent rulings, but the NCAA is now going to be allowing the actual universities to be paying upwards, I think, around $20 million per season to its student athletes. And then that's going to be directly from full funds from the football program. That sounds like an employment situation to me.
Yeah, Dwight.
Yeah, baby Tua did get denied that. So that's Saluka, right? And again, there's the money aspect of it. We live in a capitalistic society, but also just from a man standpoint, it's like, how do you trust that guy to lead your program again? Who's gonna grab Matthew Saluka out of the portal net? Somebody will grab him because they need.
To be fair,
I'm not comfortable with that if I'm on that team.
Matthew Saluka wanted his $100,000 cash so he can bet big on blackjack.
Yeah, I don't.
He's in Vegas.
Anywho, that's Saluka. Even more egregious is your boy Cub Alexander now.
Yeah,
we call him Little Bear.
I mean,
that's Little Bear now. He's Little Bear forever now, because not only did your team lose, shout out to Big Blue, but we was trying to give you some respect around that because it was a good game, right? But then your daddy all online talking to Michigan fans. Yeah, my boy is cut from the same cloth as Mason Graham and Kenneth. Brother, Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant have transferred a whopping 0 times. Mason Graham and both Kenneth Grant were preseason All-American. Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant have played in multiple college football playoff runs. Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant are both national champions. Mason Graham and Kenneth Grant are both projected to go within the first 30 picks of the NFL draft this next coming season. Fam, what cloth is there an intersection between them and Bear Alexander? And that's not me trying to dog Bear Alexander, because I think in the snaps that he played, he had some okay moments.
To be fair, he also did win a championship as well.
Oh, it was on Georgia. You're right. He's a champion. I will take that back. He is a national champion. Now, I will say there's being on a national championship team, and then there's playing on a national championship team. But I will reject my statement about him not being a champion. Everything else sticks. Everything else stands. Everything else stands. And then now, right? You deucing out on your season, but it ain't because they didn't pay you no money. It ain't because it's not even because you're not playing. It's because you're not the starter.
Yeah.
There, but brother. Now listen. I seen the post of that your dad put up of you whipping Miles Hinton and you shooting him off of you. Miles Hinton is 340 pounds. He's 6'6". That was a very impressive feat. I also saw that at the end of that rep, you were looking around like a deer in headlights. You had no clue where the ball was, right? If it had gone to Khalil Mullins, he was going past you for 6. It was Alex Orji. He's going around the corner, and you have no fucking clue. No clue.
No awareness
at all. It's like there's internet beefs. There's going back and forth with Twitter trolls, and I understand it. I have a son, that's going to be breaking into football here soon, and if somebody was talking about him negatively, I would stand up and defend him too. What I wouldn't do is offer up falsehoods to defend him. Fam, the tape is the tape. We can see it. The tape is the tape. And if your answer to the tape being the tape is, oh, well, since you're not playing me, I'm going to just peace out the whole season and try again next year after you've already transferred. Brother should be playing at Poughkeepsie State next year.
Yo.
Like if no, seriously, if you are a Power 4 program and you are serious about having a rotational player like Bear give something positive to your team in terms of culture, there's no way you bring that guy in. There's no way.
Sure.
That's not, I don't know him as a person. I don't know what he is off the football field. I can only tell you what he is on the football field. He's a marginal rotational player who thinks he should be starting, and because he's not, he's going to quit on everyone around him. Then that's just what it is. We can talk about how much money they're owed. We can talk about their evaluations. Why wouldn't you try to extend it another year? The reason why it's maybe not so great to extend it out another year is because, well, I just transferred here. And if I'm not getting playing time here, what is the likelihood that I'm going to step into a situation brand new in another playbook on another program and do what I didn't do this season, next year? At some point, it stops being, oh, well, it's the coaches. They're holding me back. They're holding me back. When it's multiple staffs and staffs that have been successful. I think DeAnton Linton is going to be successful at USC. I think obviously Kirby and Georgia have proven what they are. They don't have to prove anything to Bear Alexander. So it just kind of is what it is. I think that it also is a bit of a generational thing, right?
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
They didn't grow up having to take the type of L's that we had to take growing up. It just wasn't the same.
For sure.
Nothing was the same. There was no I-9 sports when I was a kid. You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this, though. So he came from Georgia, championship year, entered the transfer portal, went to USC, probably felt like their defense is trash. I'll go there and make a huge splash. And things clearly aren't working out for him. You don't think that's a little bit of a part of the equation? I mean, obviously he has to play well in order to start, but I think he thought he could go to USC and be a big fish in a small pond.
You thought you were going to be a big star in Athens. It didn't work out. You left. You thought you were going to be a big star in Southern California. Didn't work out. You left. So again, now we're going to our third spot. Is it third spot's a charm kind of thing? Who are we pegging him? Who's the example for him? Like who's the roadmap to success for him now on his second transfer, which is likely to be a diminutive program, right? Because if you went from Georgia to USC, the next stop is not going to be above USC.
Florida State.
You're not going from Georgia, USC to Ohio State or Michigan. Neither one of those programs are picking you up.
No.
You're not going from Georgia to USC to Oregon. Dan Lanning. You think Dan Lanning picking you up?
No. Nope.
So the Lane Kiffin might pick you, Mac Brown in North Carolina. Some people who need beef. Yeah. Go on down there and win 6 games. Yeah, Tate Martell. Tate Martell, the defensive line. Absolutely. All the talent in the world, none of the focus. Terrible. Yes, we did. Charmin Ultra, less means more.
Yeah, if I don't like anything about it, it's the timing, considering y'all beat him, and then all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, things are going so well."
We domesticated him. He said, "I am a bear. I can't go back to California like this."
That's crazy. Yeah, no, the timing is super nasty, but hey, you could take that. You could take bragging rights on that, I guess.
But yeah, man, that's the NIL snafu that is going on currently. Again, my answer: somebody within the players community has to start putting in some calls to other leaders around the country and being like, look, we can either let them shape our future, our kids' future, right? Because a lot of them are going to have children that they expect to go play college football. We can have them dictate our wealth for future generations to come, or we can make sure that players now, players in the future, always have a say. And the only thing we need to do is create a group chat. Just make a group chat, bro. Just let's make a group chat and tell them that, hey, this is the organization we have put together. This is how we want to be represented. It's right there for the taking. They just need to coalesce and do it. This is the time. And if they let it slip by, they'll doom athletes from now until forever, because they're not. Sure. They've already seen how it played. They've seen how it played. If you give them the opportunity to make the framework again, just buckle up. Yeah, but let's get to some of these games, though.
First of all, before we get into the Big Ten games, Rufus Michael, I don't even know if he's still in the chat, but he said, what y'all think about Miami?
Lucky. They have a horseshoe up their butt. Mario Cristobal and Brent Fry were having a competition on who can lose a game better.
You don't think the fix is in? Because that was a clear catch.
Yeah, I thought it was a clear catch, too. And they called it a catch on the play. But again, I still have to reckon with the fact that Virginia Tech was up 10 twice in the fourth quarter.
That's fair.
That's 10 fair. Points, 2 separate instances in the same quarter. And then also the clock issues with Brent Fry at the end of the game. So 2 minutes when we get the ball, over 2 minutes. So that means you have 2 timeouts and a 2-minute warning. Mm-hmm. Somehow you don't call one of those timeouts until there's 36 seconds left on the clock. Paging Brent Fry, he got that James Franklin disease. He brought that Nittany Lion disease down to Blacksburg with him. Because he's got those same kind of clock snafus that we used to see in Happy Valley. So I think they're very lucky.
How much did you pay to make $50 on that game? That's kind of insane. Because
that wasn't a catch.
Miami was no. He's saying that because he made the $50 on it.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
How much did you pay to make that? Because they were the favorites. Miami was the favorites.
Gotcha.
Anyway,
Loki said it wasn't a catch too.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of people were saying it wasn't a catch. I feel like the refs called it a catch, so they have to have substantial evidence to overturn.
That's what I'm saying. If you're saying there was no clear evidence, then that means the call on the field has to stick. If they would have called interception or incomplete, then I would have given that to you. And then I still kind of contend with the fact that it wasn't clear. I saw him grab the ball out of the air. We all know there's a reason why it ended up down in their arms and not somewhere off in the back of the end zone. It's because the number 9 grabbed it, right? It's where they're down on the ground and they start wrestling for it. Well, again, if you called it a catch and I can't see who's possessing it or whether or not you clearly possessed it all the way through, you called it a catch. It goes back to what they called on the field. You can't flip the call unless you have indisputable evidence going the other way.
That's how I saw it. But it seems we've got some people who think differently, including Johnny.
All right, man. Hey, look, I'll take my L on it. I thought he caught that ball.
I did too. But then again, I've seen a couple clips of it.
It's not about him. It's not about, at that point, it's not about whether or not he secured it. It's not. They are trying to disprove. They have to clearly show that he dropped it. And at that time that he's sitting on the ground wrestling with the DB, fam, I have the ball. Simultaneous possession goes to the offense. We don't see the ball until the guy who's already out of bounds shoots through and knocks the ball away.
I don't know nothing about what you're talking about, Brett Hagan. Never that.
But hey, man, anyway. I don't care. I'm sure Miami will get their they'll get the L that's coming to them promptly for sure.
Yeah, they've been on a high ride.
They should have. It shouldn't have even came down to a Hail Mary. That's why I really couldn't feel too bad about Virginia Tech, because they should have put that game away long before it even got to that. But even still, I don't know. It's one of those calls.
Yeah. Oh, shit. All right. So let's talk about Big Ten. Do you want to talk about your game or How you want to do this first?
I don't. Y'all got the bigger matchup today. Y'all got
Do we
little bro.
Minnesota or Michigan State is
Y'all
the
got
bigger
little bro.
matchup?
Then in between us, we have Minnesota.
Yeah, well, we got Michigan State. It's not like anything crazy, but anyway, I'll go first. Yeah, I did some thinking after I did the review. I cut some things out actually. I didn't realize their quarterback was so pick happy. Like it's bad. Just because of that alone, I just feel like whatever I had predicted was wrong.
It's feast or famine for them, though, because they've also had some pretty good offensive output with Charles and Marsh out there. But you're right, he does throw the ball away. He's a young quarterback. Mm-hmm. I think with y'all, it'll be one of those tests for the defense because I think they are going to try to press y'all deep.
Yeah, sure.
I just don't know if Michigan State has enough horses to like go into the fourth quarter with y'all. It certainly doesn't feel that way early into the season. And then again, of course, they are little brother. So
yeah, I feel like our DBs are very confident at this point. Depth is crazy. Lathan Ransom has been playing very well. I don't see where passing the ball is going to work out for them very much. If anything, I would say maybe test out our D-line, but Tyleek is coming back. It's not going to work well pretty much anywhere on the defense for them or anywhere with our defense for them.
Oh, has Tyleek Williams been injured?
He was out for the last week.
No,
so, okay. Yeah. So, I just
got boo-boo? Oh.
Stop it.
Well, no, anyway. Seriously, what is it? What's the injury?
I can't remember, actually. Let's see if I can pull it up real quick. Tyleek listed as available. He had, come on, Columbus Dispatch. Undisclosed injury. So
and that was last week for sure coming back this week.
That was last week, but he's available. So
okay, so then we're gonna play the same game we played against Marshall because I think it worked at least in the first quarter until Marshall pissed down their leg.
To address this real quick,
yeah.
While our DNs, and I said this in the recap or the preview, while our DNs are not getting the sacks, they are pretty good at containing. So I'm okay with this.
Fair enough. Same game we played against Marshall. What do you need to see in terms of or what would cause you to be concerned if you saw it from this game with Michigan State? What would be a concerning kind of oh shit, I didn't think they could do that.
Them scrambling out of pocket and making some big plays. Because I don't see how their offense is going to really do it otherwise. Maybe their running back can get some big plays off, but them running the ball effectively.
Because Marshall had it going in the first half, running the ball at least. They did have running the ball. They were walking up and down the field. They just couldn't convert a third or fourth and short to save their lives. It was crazy. They were picking up.
Their quarterback did pretty well too.
They were picking up like 5 yards a gain, and they would get the 3rd and 1 and like trip over his feet or some shit like that. Sure. It was the damnedest thing.
Facts. So yeah, their quarterback got off until he got injured too. So like, I mean, he got off for as much as a Marshall quarterback is going to get off against Ohio State, I guess. So things like that are going to worry me a little bit. And then on the other side, Will Howard making errant throws that make him look less confident, which I don't see happening.
So there was a throw against Akron that was a head scratcher, right? That little tip off or that little duck off to Travion. They end up being did it get called a fumble? I don't know what it was.
No,
but that was weird. That was like one of those yip moments. Then he had another one against Marshall where he's tossing up the sideline. I think a lot of people blamed it on Jeremiah Smith, but I mean that looked like a ball that was going to the DB the entire time to me. But
sure,
neither here nor there, right? You survived them both. As the level of competition begins to increase, do those plays start to stick in the back of your mind as a fan? Or if you start to see them versus better competition, does it start to worry you as a fan, seeing that he's doing it versus lesser competition that you can bully out of the way and kind of make up for?
Well, okay. So first of all, I will say this. We've only seen you've only given me 2 instances of that happening in 3 games. So
okay,
Kyle McCord, I feel like, had way more than that.
I guess the comp would be we not even gonna talk about my boy Escalade McCord now, because he is
Escalade
upgraded.
McCord is
Yeah,
crazy.
he upgraded.
Yo,
He
okay.
put that
I mean,
thing in
he did
sport.
upgrade. He
He put
upgraded
that
for
thing in
sure.
sport. But
That's
I
crazy.
guess the comp to that would be that the competition level is low, and so you
Yes.
can get away with a little bit more, and it doesn't
Sure.
exacerbate the same way. So
Mhm.
again, if Michigan State forces a few more of those yip plays, knowing that even beyond Michigan State is going to be, continue to ramp up, any concern there?
I wouldn't be concerned in this game. I'd be like, okay, competition is heating up. We'll see in the next game how they address the mistakes that were made against Michigan State. Because again, I don't think Michigan State is a team that I have to worry about. If those things happen, that we're going to lose the game. But at the same time, it's how you address those mistakes going forward. And we've got a couple of games before we get to Oregon, so that's
All
what
right,
I'm
we got at least one score prediction for Ohio State, Michigan State. I like that 49-0.
possible
Suffice.
that
That's
we
your
shut
word.
them out.
Go ahead and give us your score predictions on who you got for Ohio State, Michigan State in the chat, please.
Absolutely.
All right, next up should be.
You're not going with
We got,
your team? Hey, you gotta
you
go
want
with
to do
your
12 o'clock? Cool. Yeah, we
yeah.
got Michigan, Minnesota at 12. So there's a few things to build off here, right? Coming off the win on USC. Number one, I want to keep building on the running game, obviously.
For sure.
That's going to be our strength this year. So keep gaining confidence in the offensive line. The injury report today had a couple of guys questionable. Guys I didn't want to see out, honestly. Crippen was on that list as questionable. Samaj Morgan was questionable. And somebody else. I think Will was questionable as well.
Okay.
This is a game I think we can win without those guys. The offensive line one, though, kind of, it doesn't worry me. It just disappoints because I want to see Crippen play more and more. But it is what it is. You want to keep leaning on that running game, adding more wrinkles to it. Also with Alex Orji, this is a good opportunity. It's going to be a good week to try shit. It's going to be a good week to try shit. Minnesota cannot stop the run. So we know we're going to have them at a disadvantage. You're going to have opportunities for shot plays. If for nothing else, just to put it on film that we will do it. Take the opportunities, rep it for Alex Orji. Take this game as an opportunity to try things. You know what I mean?
So real quick, so I think with Johnny, he had kind of mentioned that the USC game is kind of like this original foundation building block. And so now you guys are going to be looking to kind of build on that to kind of hopefully build up your offensive repertoire. I'm sure you would probably agree with that.
Yeah. This is what I would do. Like if I had like hit the lottery or my wildest dreams came true and I became a coach.
Dave Portnoy's trying to give you the lottery.
Stop playing with me. Anyways, I would start our season at USC. I would tell them we are burning the tape from week 1 to week 3. Even though there was some good stuff in there. I mean, it is what it is against Texas. Fresno State wasn't great. We got better late. And then Arkansas State was a get right week. But burn it. Burn it, because your shining moment of this season was USC. Everything that you want to become, everything that you hope to do this season hinges on what you were able to do in that game. Dominate in the running game, control the ball, play dominating defense, turn them over. The things that you can improve on to make that even better, don't turn it back over to them. Stay consistent on offense. Don't have a whole quarter where you're not able to move the football at all, right?
Mm-hmm.
Get better at those fine-tuned things. Build off of what you got in USC. I see my boy Will Johnson. He look like he gonna play. Will Johnson gonna play. So I don't think we got to worry about. You said Colston's out?
Colston Loveland looks like he's out.
They had him. He wasn't even on the. Damn, he wasn't even on the questionable list.
I think he's been confirmed out.
Did he get confirmed out?
Maybe not. I don't know.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. But even if it's not, obviously we got Klein, we've got some of the young guys, Hogan Hansen that was playing the week before last, Nate Marshall, Brady Prescorn. I mean, we're not hurting for tight ends. We'll have a target for you to throw to. Now,
no, he's back. Colson Loveland's back.
Loveland's back.
His game. Yeah.
Okay, that's going to be huge. That's going to be huge for Alex because having that security blanket I think is going to help. Having a guy that you can also get yak from is going to help him a lot. That's why I'm hoping that Samaj doesn't sit out because I really want to see him get some chemistry with Origi. Right, he popped open a couple of times last week. Bar the protection, obviously, but if we can get Origi to start looking his direction sooner, I think Samaj is a guy who gets separation early, like right off the line. He's not a guy who has to get downfield to break away from guys. So that's going to be valuable to us at certain points in this season. I want them to build that chemistry. Hopefully he plays. All in all, we should be able to dominate this game based off of talent alone. I want to see them work on the things that they're weak on.
This looks like the availability report as of 2 hours ago. So these are the players that are out. These are the players
I hope not, Brett. I hope not. Availability list. Let me see. Let me get back in there.
So these are out. These are questionable.
Rod Moore, of course. Jaden Mangum, Wesley Walker. Damn, Walker, what the fuck? That's okay, though, because Brandon Hillman's been playing pretty good. I like how he's been playing. Jake McBurrows. Don't like that. So that means Zeke Berry's going to have to play a lot. But they haven't really been throwing the ball like that anymore. Like, so I don't Micah Pollard, Jordan Marshall. Damn, what happened to Marshall? Jason Hewlett, Leon Franklin. Okay. Yeah, we're okay. I think we can survive without Josiah this week. It looks like Will's going to play. I hope Crippen plays. I want to see Cripp play. I hope Cripp and Samaj both play. I really don't think we have time unless they're actually hurt or injured. Excuse me. Unless they're actually injured. If they're injured, sit them out. Let's get healthy. We got Washington in a couple of weeks. After that, we've got Michigan State and Oregon. Let's not press it, I guess. But I would love to see him play and start to build some of this offensive chemistry. I got us going 35-10 over Minnesota today.
35-10. You think you're going to score that much?
35-10. I think we should get at least 5 offensive touchdowns. At least. If we control the ball the way that we should, I'd say that's 2 scores a half plus 1 shock play. That's a pretty efficient offense. You give me 2 scores a half plus 1 breakout play, whether that's a defensive score or if it's a big play. Let's start to put this together.
I feel like Minnesota's new quarterback isn't doing so hot, so you might get the opportunity to score a little bit more with that being the case.
Let's see. I feel like that was a plan they used for the first few weeks to see what they had in Warren. See, I disagree to a certain degree because I think that they were trying to pass the ball more. Like they were trying to have a truly like mea culpa 50-50, everybody gets an equal share kind of offense. And that was very pie in the sky for me. Like that was always very losing a top 10 quarterback and then replacing him with guys that have never started in college doesn't sound like you're going to be able to have a completely symmetrical offense, right? You're going to have to pick something to lean on, and it's probably going to be your running game because that's what's been successful in your program for so long. So I think, yeah, it is kind of a see what you have in the passing game, but they're not going to be leaning on it nearly as heavy as they were with Davis Warren. Because now they've come to the conclusion that the running game's got to lead the team. I think they were thinking otherwise at the beginning of the season. So yeah, next game up, we got give us your score predictions for Michigan, Minnesota.
Somebody already gave us one of them, 20-3 Michigan.
23 Michigan. Okay, Brett, appreciate that. We got Maryland, Indiana. They're also kicking off at 12 on Big Ten Network.
Indiana got it, boy. Indiana's been playing some good football. That offense
Nettie been talking big, and they've been playing even bigger.
Yeah.
They've been playing even bigger. They went out there and cleaned out UCLA. Who did they beat last week? They beat
Hold on, I got you.
yeah, help me
They
out.
played Charlotte 52-14.
Charlotte, and had a really good game versus Charlotte. Shout out to Biff Poggi down there. Still trying to get something going to Charlotte, but
they haven't had a game where they scored less than 31 points, which is
yeah,
crazy.
I'm not afraid of Indiana, but I will say I'm starting to reposition my. They may drop one of those goofy games versus a team that's not supposed to be good. I may be switching that from Washington to Indiana. Before the season, I felt like it was Washington. They had Will Rogers. They were coming off the national championship game. They had a lot of turnover, but I thought that maybe there would still be enough there for them to compete. They look like a team that's going to struggle. They only scored 18 points last night versus Rutgers, which Rutgers is a good defensive team, but I was expecting a little bit more of an offensive showing from that passing offense, and they could never even at the last drive, right, with the 2-minute drill, which is usually when you have your best plays. Things look very strained for the Washington offense. And then there was very spotty with them running the ball. That was another thing that I thought that Jet Fish would, play into this year. And it's been very inconsistent in the early stages of this year, right? And Rutgers was able to kind of make them one-dimensional last night. So I think Indiana is probably going to be that team that fills that void as a surprise team in the league this year.
I would agree.
Maryland, on the other hand, having some early success with Billy Edwards. They're 3-1, only lost to Michigan State.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I don't know which way I'm going on this.
I'm going Indiana. I think their offense is too high powered. I think they're at home. I think Maryland lost to Michigan State, and I just don't feel as confident about them. For me personally.
Yeah. But I don't know. I want to say Maryland's going to beat Indiana because it's Maryland's time to take that step. And every time I say that, they lose to a Michigan State. They lose to an Indiana. They lose to Penn State. Right? It has to happen, or else maybe we start back channeling Mike Locksley as our offensive coordinator next year. I'm just saying, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe we start the back channels, because how many years, Locksley, are you going to be the can they do it team and not beat one of the teams that you're supposed to beat, or that you're not supposed to beat? Not punch up and win. It's getting kind of old there in Maryland. Give me Cignetti, man. Yeah, give me Cignetti. I'll take Indiana today.
It'll be a hard fought win.
Yeah. No, but in hopes that this pushes Locksley further into the clutches of Sharon Moore to be the offensive coordinator of Michigan next year.
That's crazy. Hey, I can't be mad at you for your hopes and dreams.
I don't want the black man to lose his job, but man, that would be a dream scenario.
The only thing I can give a little bit of hesitation to is that Indiana hasn't really played anybody, but
they haven't, right? And so there still is a bit of question out there. Maryland can come out and run them off the field, and then it wouldn't necessarily surprise me because of the level of competition Indiana has played so far. That said, I don't believe in transitive property, but I don't think Michigan State's very good, and I don't think they should have been able to beat Maryland. So how good are you actually? Right? Are you better than this Indiana team? Because they've been proving it. They're undefeated.
Yeah. Yep. A fact is a fact.
I'll say Indiana 35-24.
35-24. It's going to be a close one either way. I think it might even be a little closer than what you say.
Same, though. Same. Every year.
Okay. So then are we doing Nebraska, Purdue?
Purdue is next
baby
up.
Mahomes.
Yeah. Give me Nebraska. Give me Nebraska big.
I think that's a clear. Nebraska just came off of a loss, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And so, yeah, they're going to be
lost to Illinois last week.
They did lose to Illinois. Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then, yeah, they lost a tough game, and Purdue just seems to be that team this year to get your get back on. So, yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, Purdue looks terrible early. I'm no fan of Ryan Walters, as frequent watchers know. So I'm going to pray for them to lose every game. So yes, give me Nebraska by 1 million.
Okay. All right.
Wisconsin, USC.
I think it's similar
3:30 on
situation.
CBS.
USC just lost to you guys. They're going to be looking to get some get back. Wisconsin's just not that team this year. It's at home for USC.
So Wisconsin just lost Tyler Van Dyke, right? They're trying to do the whole reinvent yourself thing too at Wisconsin of all places with Phil Longo, and it's going the way it's going, and now they're starting quarterbacks out. I think they're probably going to have to go back to basics and run the hell out of the ball, which may present USC with similar type of problems that they found last week. Does USC improve in that way in short order? I think they had a great showing in the third quarter, really most of the way through the fourth last week as well, until that that last drive with Khalil Mullins. Do they find a way to complete the job? Right? Do you find a way to not just be good 75% of the time, be good 90, 80%, right? Get there, eliminate the big plays. Don't allow them to dominate you so thoroughly early in the football game so that you're not playing from behind and that you have to play one dimensional. Can you dictate the pace better as a play caller in Lincoln Riley? Those are the things I'll be looking for against Wisconsin. So yeah, I think this one's going to be tighter than a lot of people think, because again, I think it's going to be another clashing of styles that Wisconsin's going to have to improve on in short order, and yet that's a tough ask for a new system with young players. Give me USC 24-21 over Wisconsin.
I will say this. If Wisconsin is willing to borrow from the Michigan playbook, they're not as good as Michigan doing it. USC lost close to y'all before, and with the added edge of USC being upset about losing to you guys, I think they win this one a little bit more distant, but not. It's still going to be a close game.
So that's the 3:30. We've got night games. We already talked about Ohio State and Michigan State. 7:30 on NBC. We got Illinois, Penn State.
I'm ready for this game, and I think Illinois is going to show improve in this game. I think they're going to come and try to run Penn State shit.
Hey man, listen, y'all want to start the James Franklin hot seat? If you want to get it going, this is the game. This is the game right here. That starts his way out of Happy Valley, because Illinois is equipped to beat Penn State.
Yes,
Illinois has things that gives Penn State fits. They can run the ball in between the tackles, and they got talent on the outside. They can score. Penn State hasn't still Would you rather has not proven that they could put together a proficient offense, even with those running backs, even with the offensive linemen that they usually have. They have still not shown against a really good team that they are going to be able to spread you out and get down the field. Give me Illinois today over Franklin and Penn State.
Wholeheartedly.
I'm going to say that Illinois is going to score. They're going to put up points. They're going to score 35. I don't think that Penn State's going to keep up. Give me 35-21 Illinois over Penn State.
2 scores. I can agree with that. It won't be an ass whooping, but it'll be
over time. It'll show the deficiencies in Penn State's offense, and it'll show how much Illinois has improved offensively. I think that's what we'll see today.
Yep. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I'm just ready for James Franklin to be on the chopping block.
So tell us what you're thinking about that one. We're kind of speeding through them here. I'm trying to get everybody out of here before kickoff. Oregon, UCLA at 11, late game.
UCLA just hasn't been performing at all this season. I don't think anybody sees a surprise in this game. Oregon's going to win this one big.
So it's interesting to me, right? Because I think a lot of the West Coast teams have been struggling with the Big Ten play, right? You've seen it with Washington. You've seen it with USC. UCLA has been struggling all over. Oregon has been able to hide. They had their struggles versus a mid-major and a Mountain West team. And their first conference opponent is UCLA. All right. So Nothing has really changed for them, and even still, they've shown chinks in the armor. I think all the West Coast teams are going to have trouble adjusting to the kind of slow, plotting, big offensive line, run the ball 35 to 40 times a game type of play that Big Ten teams want to do. I think they're going to struggle with it, just like Washington and just like UCLA or like USC is here early. We aren't going to see it in this game though,
right?
And a lot of it's going to be hidden. When Oregon has trouble with a Big Ten style of game, it's going to shock everybody.
Yeah.
Remember, you hear it first. I don't think it's going to be any different than the adjustment that USC is having to make. I don't think it's any different than the adjustment that Washington is having to make stylistically. It's going to be an adjustment period. And I think it was maybe a little bit of a foregone conclusion that Oregon and USC were going to come in and compete for the league right away. And then they still might, right? It's very early in the season. You can't count them out. It's just that I think the deficiencies that they're showing, ingratiating themselves into the league early on, are butting their heads, and it's not dissimilar between them two, right? They're kind of having the same problems, right? Like, man, don't you want to score? Don't you want to score fast? Like, go hurry up or something. Stop running it to our guards. Stop running it to our tackles every damn play. Stop. Do something else. Like right now, they playing the game and they want to quit because all the other guys doing is running power all game, but he getting 7 yards a game and he's annoying. They want to rage quit, but they can't.
I am so ready for Ohio State to come in there and punch their offensive line in the mouth. They got holes. They got deficiencies. I'm ready to see it.
So this game against UCLA, though, I don't think UCLA has much to offer. They're kind of going the way of Purdue. Give me Oregon 50, UCLA 17. Oh, wow. 42-10. Yeah. Okay. That's somewhere in that range. I just don't think UCLA has anything to hold Oregon down, and they definitely don't have anything to score against them with. So,
yeah, absolutely.
But you say Boise was similar to a Big Ten style play, the way that they ran the ball. It was similar. I don't think that they have Big Ten personnel, and that's why I think that they're going to have similar troubles to a larger degree when they have to play Ohio State, when they have to play Michigan, when they have to play Penn State. Those teams are not going to sit up here and have a throw off with you. And that's what Pac-12 football has been for the last decade or so. There hasn't been a whole, not since Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly have been gone out of there, has there been a concentrated effort on running the football in the Pac. So these guys are not used to playing gap scheme 30 times a game, right? Yeah, you may get it here and there, third and shorts, goal line, right? When the team's trying to bleed clock, it's more situational. Now they're entering into a league where they are tasked with guarding the run every play. Because even on deep play action shots, RPO, all of that is incorporating the same type of run looks that would suggest that they're running power, that they're running ISO, that they're running inside zone, split zone, what have you. These are the things that they're going to have to adjust to defensively. And it's also going to affect how they play offensively, because no longer are you going to be incentivized to walk up and down the field. One of the key things that helped Michigan in the USC game is that when they were coming back, right, and USC got up and had the ball late in that fourth quarter, Lincoln Riley is still throwing screen passes and stops the clock. Now, the only thing that Michigan can do is run the damn football. Why the fuck are you putting the ball in the air? Excuse my French if any children are listening. But why on God's green earth would you ever be throwing any type of pass up in the big house versus Michigan in the fourth quarter when they have only thrown for around 40 yards in the game? But he throws it twice. Michigan stops him. They punt the ball with the clock stopped. The rest is history.
Yeah.
That's a style. That is a style. That is a coaching, play calling type of thing.
You got multiple teams like that. You got multiple teams who have defensive lines that are going to run right through that offensive line. You got multiple teams with great running back rooms that will be able to just keep Dylan Gabriel off the field completely.
And if you're not going to stop it, they'll do it over and over and over and over. Everybody look at Michigan like, oh man, they run the ball 40 times in a row, won't throw the ball. If you get in the game, why Watch what Wisconsin do to USC today. If Wisconsin is, excuse me, if USC is showing the same type of problems early on stopping the run that they showed in our game, watch what Wisconsin does today. Watch what Penn State does today. If for some reason Illinois has problems stopping the run, watch what they do with Katron Allen and Nick Singleton.
Yeah,
it's a stylistic thing, man. This is a different league.
Facts. Well, I know you got to get to your Michigan game, and I got games to watch for my big money parlay. So,
one last. Did we talk about Washington Rutgers last night?
We did not.
Shout out to Greg Schiano on Rutgers. They beat
shout out to
Washington.
Schiano.
We kind of talked about them in the mix of everything. So
a little bit. You know, I
like man.
Scarlet Knights.
I just want to thank everybody that was in the chat with us today. Again, we do this every Saturday at 11, right before the games kick off. Make sure you join us every Saturday. Give us a like here in the chat if you haven't done so already. Make sure you subscribe to us. We have other content coming out during the week. Good luck to all your teams, unless you are Sparty or the Suckeyes. Love you all.
Yo, wow.
It's out of here.
Why is it at the end of every live stream, y'all got to take shots? I don't get it. And then you got commenters talking about my hairline. Jesus Christ. Anyway, go Bucks.